And some of these restrictions do include some landscape watering restrictions, residential washing of vehicles, and odd even watering, as well as some additional watering schedules. We do have some watering schedules available for the public down at the counter down in the front of City Hall. We do ask that you please, even if you're on a well, these are a very drought-stricken time for the entire state of Texas, and we encourage you, even if you're out there on a well system, to refrain from watering during the peak hours of the daytime. It'll help all of us out in the long term. Another thing I'd like to mention is there will be a special meeting on August the 2nd at 1 p.m. held right here to review the budget workshops discussion which took place earlier on the 18th and 19th of July. We'll be reviewing what we discussed in the budget workshops during that special meeting. And for your information, the next regular council meeting will not be on the first Tuesday, which would be that 2nd of August. It will actually be on August the 9th, the following Tuesday. With that being said, I now call this meeting to order. This is our regular council meeting. Here it is, July 26th. We're inside the City Hall here, and I'd like to welcome our invocation to be led by Pastor David Becker. He's with the First Baptist Church. If you would please lead us all in prayer and join me in standing, please.
Father, many things that we can give thanks to you for today, and our hearts really are filled with gratitude for goodness that you show to us and the good things, Father, that you offer us each and every day. Father, we realize that as we go through life, there are situations that we face that are difficult. And Father, this drought has just gotten difficult for us. And we pray, Father, that you would send the rain that's needed in the end of these 100-degree days. And Father, just assist us during this time. Father, help us to not cease to ask you and to pray for the rain that we so desperately need. Then, Father, decisions that are faced by this group of council members, some difficult, some not so much so. But we pray for them that tonight they would be an example of Christ himself as they discuss, as they input, that they would remember the commandments of love, and, Father, that they would give of themselves sacrificially for the good of all in each and every way. We pray for this meeting tonight, Father. We place it in your hands, and we ask, Father, that you would use it in a mighty and powerful way. In Christ's name, amen.
Thank you, sir. And if you would, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the Texas flag, please.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Please be seated. Council member, as you saw in your packet and also presented before you, we have approval of minutes for the May 24th, 2011. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to accept those minutes as presented.
Mayor's really changes.
I'll need you to pull the mic down to you, please, sir.
Okay, sorry. Is this the meeting that Mr. Parson had asked to be changed?
Yes.
They have been amended.
What was the amendments on that? I don't.
They're right here on
Give him the item number, please, sir.
11105. Oh. You want me to read that in?
Well, personally, I'd like to have a copy of what they've been changed to. Is it?
This will be an amendment in Mr. Parsons' reply to an area. Can you give me that number once again, please, sir?
11-105.
Why did Mr. Parcel was the only one who got a copy of it, the secretary?
This would be his motion to amend.
I know, but if it's a motion to be amended, if we're going to vote on it, don't we all need to see a copy of it?
He's about to do
Oh,
that.
I'm very sorry. I
Okay.
thought you said it was already done.
No, sir.
Okay. Well, it's in this copy of the minutes that I have. And 11-105 relates to considering adoption of a resolution regarding granting of a permit by the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, allowing the BRA to divert 421,000 acre-feet of water from the Brazos River. Councilman Parson commented the way he saw it was the increased amount of time that the lake is low, and if people cannot get their boats out of the water, would have quite a serious effect on the ad valorem evaluations of the city. And that was not counting the deleterious effect on sales tax and on the city's tourist trade. BRA could have the water, however, Councilman Parson was asking that council understand what the economic effect was going to be on the city of Granbury. He commented it would be quite devastating. He commented the city is one of the larger financial entities in negotiations with BRA. He commented the Dow Chemical Company has exerted its senior rights to water in the Brazos and sent a letter to TCEQ, and I'm reading from the wrong one, I think. Yeah. Sorry about that.
What he just read to you, council members, is what we have before us in the packet.
Yeah.
This should be the corrected version. We're looking for any adjustments or amendments.
There it is. The one with the highlights on it, right? Okay. I was reading the one that was at the table. So I'll start over. Councilman Parson commented the way he saw it, it was the increased amount of time that the lake is low, and if people cannot get their boats out of the water, that could have quite a serious negative effect on the ad valorem valuations in the city, and that was not counting the deleterious effect on sales tax and on the city's tourist trade. BRA, by its own report, indicated that this increased water right could cause lower lake levels more often and for longer periods of time. Councilperson Parson was asking if the council understand what the economic effect was going to be on the city of Granbury. He commented it could be quite devastating. He commented the city is one of the larger financial entities in negotiation with BRA. He commented the Dow Chemical Plant had exerted its senior right to water in the Brazos and sent in a letter to TCEQ, and that TCEQ has implemented that senior water right with subordinated users. The city of Granbury also has the right to 10,800 acre square feet in the lake for public or potable water, and currently the city now uses some 2,000 acre feet of that. Councilman Parson commented he had brought this resolution forward because BRA was moving forward with getting their right to the water, and the city had not had a position in the current hearing since it was too late to get in. He wanted to make sure that when this moved to CCQ, after it would come out of the SOHA, that the city of Granbury be in a position to say that the city wanted to be heard and have discussions about what lower lake levels and about what golden algae does to Granbury Lake and how it affects Granbury properties, its citizens, and its tourism.
Mayor, I move that we approve the consent agenda with Mr. Parsons' amendments.
Need a second, please?
A second.
Second by Mr. Allen. Any further discussion regarding those amendments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving us to consent item minutes of council meeting of June 21st, and we could also do July 5th.
Mayor, I approve. I made a motion for the whole consent agenda. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
We're good.
I'm sorry, I wasn't even paying attention to where we were. So we've now approved all items in the consent list. Moves us to our first deliberation agenda item. And I'd like to mention that item number 1 and 2 will be opening at the same time, just since both of them are related. First item, consider and approve a resolution for the consent of reassignment of BRA and amendment to the existing system water availability agreement, which went into effect the first day of November 1998 and as amended the 6th day of July 2004 and the 23rd day of June 2006 and the 4th day of January 2011 to sell our raw water to Dow Chemical Company, 8,000 acre-feet for the year 2011 and 7,500 acre-feet for the fiscal year 2012. Moving down to item number 2, consider and approve a contract with Dow Chemical Company located at 2301 North Brazosport Boulevard, Building B 3501, Brazoria County, Freeport, Texas, to purchase 8,000 acre-feet no later than August 31st, 2011, with the option to buy 7,500 acre-feet after September 1, 2011, and no later than December 31st, 2011, for the amount of $70 per acre-feet. Giving a little bit of background regarding these particular items, the City of Granbury currently has a contract with the BRA for some 10,800 acre-feet of water each year. That contract runs September 1 to August 31. In other words, each year from September 1 to August 31, the city has a total amount of 10,800 acre-feet available to it. On an average, the city uses some 2,000 to 3,000 acre-feet of that water each year. Each month, the city pays to the BRA approximately some $600,000 for the use of these water rights. This has been going on, as we mentioned, since this was first approved in 1998. There is a situation of drought, as we all understand, throughout the state of Texas. TCEQ has already restricted certain junior water users from taking water from the Brazos River, while senior users such as Granbury, Luminant, and others along the Brazos have not received any restrictions. However, one of the situations is that a company called Dow Chemical, which is located in Freeport, Texas, is in need of some additional water. The Brazos River Authority does not have available water rights to sell. However, we flush downriver some 8,000 acre-feet each year. With that in mind, the City of Granbury has been approached by Dow Chemical to sell raw water to them for the fiscal year 2011 and 2012. In 2011, that acre-feet amount is 8,000 acre-feet, and in the year 2012, that's our following year, 2012, 7,500 acre-feet. The result of this consent of reassignment to the city will receive in the fiscal year 2011 some $560,000 to be paid in advance of their granting of the water, and a possible 525,000 feet to be seen in fiscal year 2012. With that in mind, what we have before us, council members, is we have a resolution for consent of reassignment of water to Dow Chemical, followed by a contract which you'll see before you. And I would like to mention that as to the contract, there are some changes that have just crossed our desk, and you should find them in front of you in assignment agreement by and between the Dow Chemical Company and the City of Granbury, Texas. And I'd like to mention to you that if you look in what you have in your packet, which is on item number 3, it currently reads the quantity of water initially Dow may take, subject to the authority's prior written approval, a maximum of 8,000 acre-feet of water to be used no later than August 31st, 2011. That has now been readdressed and language has changed. It now reads, Dow may take, subject to the authority's prior written approval, 4,000 acre-feet of water to be used no later than August 31st, 2011, to be called a first installment purchase. Further, the subject to the authority's prior written approval, Dow may take a second allocation of 4,000 acre-feet of water, also to be used no later than August 31st, 2011, and this will be termed out as the second installment purchase. The rest of the language looks to be the same to me for that. And as far as I know, that is the only language change that we have before us in the contract. Am I correct in that? Oh, I'm sorry. The payment, the price and payment section also had to be adjusted to reflect the fact that the price of the first payment for the first installment would be some $280,000 within 10 business days of the effective date of this agreement. And the second installment purchase, Dow will make payment to Granbury in the amount of $280,000 within 10 business days of the authority granting written approval of the second installment purchase.
The only question I have about that, Mayor, is an email that was sent on this date at 5:23 p.m.
Yes.
that we were handed. And if I'm reading this right, it says and this is somebody writing it to our city manager from BRA, and they're saying we are agreeable to consenting to the assignment of as much as 10,000 acre-feet from existing customers. So obviously, are they saying, hey, we agree to the whole 10,000, we just want y'all to do it in increments? Is that what it boils down to?
That's pretty much it. We're only agreeing to 8,000.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and this is for the next fiscal period, okay? From the next September 1 to August 31 period.
So the only thing
that's when we basically replenish that 10,800 acre-feet under our wing, and we have the right, according to the BRA, they are in agreement and written agreement that they understand that we can get rid of up to 10,000.
They're just going to approve it in increments, like 4,000 this time, 4,000. Okay, got it. Okay,
that is correct.
Yeah, we just requested confirmation because this afternoon they changed the agreement. And we're saying finally, hey, you guys did something right. You should agree doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, and this, just so you understand, the change just came across our table at the very last minute, right before council meeting.
Mayor, one question: we're still talking about the same amount of water, but we're going to have plenty for reserve for us.
That is correct. Now, I do want to mention that during this drought, that there are periods where you may exceed the actual daily draw off of the BRA plant, the SWATS plant, and we have experienced that, and that is one of the reasons for the drought level 2 contingency that we've got in place, because we are finding that the water draw has reached a state where we need to be concerned, all of us as citizens throughout the entire community. And just another point of issue is the point of delivery. Dow will take the water down at the Harris diversion point, which is far downstream from here. And as I mentioned, this water flows through our system all the time, and it's not that they're taking it out of our lake at any kind of a dump of 8,000 acre-feet or 7,500 acre-feet at one fell swoop. It flows down there. It's currently in the water. They just need a source of water right to say, yes, we're going to give you additional water right.
Can we do this in one motion, or is it going to have to be a motion for resolution?
I think we need a motion for resolution and then a motion for the contract approval. So with that being said, I'll entertain a motion to accept the resolution and approve the resolution as presented in the packet.
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second by Mr. Perkel. Any further discussion regarding the resolution? Call for the vote. All in favor of adopting the resolution, please say aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries. Now we'll move forward with the Dow contract. As I mentioned, there are some amendments to it other than what you see in your packet. So that I would now entertain a motion to accept the assignment agreement by and between Dow Chemical Company and the City of Granbury, Texas, with the aforementioned amendments. We have a motion, Mr. Hewlett, second by Mr. Perkel. Any further discussion regarding this contract?
Got one question, Mayor. I believe, and Wayne, you might have to help us here. What were we paying for that? 62?
Yeah, 62.
Okay.
$62.50 per acre feet.
Yeah, and that's why the price increase is going up, because it's going up on the city also, right?
No, we are just requesting of Dow Chemical to pay us a higher rate.
Oh, okay, good.
We're making money.
30.
All right. Any further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving us on down to item number 3. Once again, I would like to suggest to the council that we move to item 4 and shuffle our agenda items around just a bit. I would like us to visit item number 4 prior to item number 3. Moving to item number 4. Consider and approve a master professional services agreement with Bureau Veritas for retail food establishment inspections within the city of Granbury. And I'll invite Scott Sopcich to enlighten us on this issue, please.
Mayor, with your permission, I would like to turn it over to the health inspector, Ms. Becky Malden.
Very good. Hello, Ms. Malden.
Hello, Mayor, City Council, Mr. Manager. As you know, at the recent budget workshops, I gave you some information regarding the current code enforcement activity that we're seeing in the city and how overwhelming that has become, in addition to the responsibilities of environmental health in the city. Currently, I'm the only staff member that conducts all of the swimming pool, Class B and C commercial semi-public swimming pool, temporary events and festival, nursing home, hospital, hotel, motel, B&B, and retail food inspections in the city. That is the reason that we are looking at Bureau Veritas to assist with the retail food inspections in the city. Lisa Pomeroy is a program manager with Bureau Veritas, and she's here tonight if you need to ask her any questions specifically. I can tell you that Bureau Veritas offers a range of options as far as assisting cities with inspection services. They offer inspection only, and they offer a full service option. My proposal to you is to start off with just 2 inspections per year, where I would still manage all of the permits, all the permit activity, all the inspection reports would still come back through me for review prior to any enforcement action, and this service of Bureau Veritas would strictly be conducting the inspections out in the field to take some of that off of me. Bureau Veritas, regardless of the type of inspection or type of establishment, charges $150 per inspection. I think we may have a slide here, Scott. We currently have 159 permitted retail food establishments. So the projected cost, if we were to have Bureau Veritas conduct all of the inspections twice a year, would be $47,700 or so. We are not required as a city to give them all of the inspections. So if there are some that are not as time-consuming, perhaps maybe some convenience stores, concession-type services, I could still probably handle some of those inspections. Also, looking forward to the future, I would project that we'll add at least 10 new retail food permits this coming year. Restaurants like grocery stores like H-E-B actually have 5 permits. They have 5 department permits. So that's why their fees look low on there. We're looking at increasing those fees to $150 per department. So make sure that you realize that's a multiplied permit fee. So most of them will have 5 departments. We also have plans in our office currently for another racetrack, a McDonald's, a Panda Express, and a couple of others. So, the next slide, Scott, shows our sort of the range of our permit fees right now. I think it's safe to say that the City of Granbury's permit fees are rather low. The Texas Department of State Health Services fees range from $258 to $773. We can't talk about that yet.
If I can get you to stay on task with the Bureau Veritas issue, we'll be taking to this.
I'm sorry?
We'll do the city comparison when we go back to talking about the fee schedule, please.
Okay, so any questions on this contract or what we're sort of looking at?
Anybody from council have any questions regarding it?
Becky,
use the microphone down. Thanks.
Becky, I'm sorry. You're telling me or telling the council and the city here the only thing they're going to expect is 159 restaurants a year. Is that correct?
Twice a year. So 159 restaurants twice a year.
Okay, and that's $47,700.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but in this contract will be just for restaurants only.
Yes, yes. They did put on the fee schedule for the contract with Bureau Veritas both options, the full service and the inspection only option. We are looking at the inspection only option. I believe it's on the bottom half of your page.
Right. I'll be the first to say you work many, many hours. You do a great job.
Thank you.
But
Here it comes.
Can we hire an assistant and maybe, is this the month-to-month deal here that they're wanting?
It is a contract. We can give them as many inspections as we want.
So we can quit at any time?
Yes, sir.
All right. Because if we get adding up more and more and more, and I understand, Becky, what you're saying, I agree with you. But if we get up to the point, it's probably going to be better off for us to hire somebody than subbing this out.
It may be.
Quite honestly, I don't think we could hire somebody at a $47,000 level.
Not right now.
No.
Down the road as we grow, like Becky's saying, and we will. But that's why I want to make sure it's a month-to-month type deal.
It's certainly a possibility, and that's the reason that I'm proposing the 2 inspections only and not the full service option, because I think it's a good opportunity for the city to kind of ease into this and see how it works for us and how much of my time it sort of frees up. I think it would be a good fit.
Becky, over the last 2 years, with your experience here at the city and the restaurants, is it a fair statement to say that you've been doing 2 visits per restaurant a year, or more or less over the last 2 years?
2 per year. As the state health department does it, the higher priority restaurants would be those that have had a poor history of compliance or maybe serve product which is more dangerous. When I prioritize, if I get behind, those are the ones that I do first.
Okay, thank you.
And to address Councilman Allen's question, there is a termination clause in the contract. Any party can terminate the contract within 15 days given prior notice.
I think it's a good deal.
Any other questions regarding this contract? With that being said, thank you. We'll get to the next item here in just a second, so stay tuned. So what we have before us, folks, is we have a contract, and we need to find out whether or not we want to approve it. You can see that it's, as they mentioned, it's as we need it. It can be termed out in 15 days' notice. It's for inspections only. So with that, I'd entertain a motion to accept the aforementioned contract for inspections only.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Allen, a second by Mr. Perkle. Any further discussion regarding the contract?
We do have it in our budget, don't we, Wayne, for next year?
In fact, I had put $60,000 in, thinking we might go the full service, but we're going to cut it back.
Any other questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion is approved. That's going to take us back to item number 3. Consider and approve an ordinance amending the Granbury Master Fee Schedule as reflected in Section 1.50.159, Section A of the Granbury Code of Ordinances, providing for the amendment of food establishment permit fees. The background on this is the city's current retail food establishment permit fees have been found to be considerably low in comparison to other cities and jurisdictions' fees for comparable retail food and inspection services. The new retail food permit fees will range from $100 to $300 per establishment. And with that, Ms. Malden, can you take us back to where you wanted to show us a comparison?
Yes, Mayor. The new proposed fees, of course, we could have just done an across-the-board fee increase or looked at that to more closely match those fees of Bureau Veritas to recover some of these costs. However, I didn't think that was justified in some of these cases. Some of these establishments don't take as much time, and there are also some of the establishments like child care centers, nursing homes. They have other licensing fees that they have to come up with each year also. So that's why the fees aren't proposed to be the same $300 across the board. A majority of the fees, however, restaurants, all convenience stores, some of those larger establishments, there'll be a flat $300 fee. The school districts, we're looking at increasing from the current $150 fee to $300 per year for their 2 inspections. The USDA and the National School Lunch Program requires that all the public schools have 2 inspections conducted by a registered sanitarian during the school year. The $300...
Can I stop you for just a second? Council, just so you're up to where we're at, Scott, are you on the right slide, or is there not a slide for this food establishment permit fee?
So the $300 a year would be matching what the schools pay out in Hood County. So, for example, Granbury ISD has, I think about 7 of their schools are in the city limits right now, and then 2 are out in the county. They're currently paying $300 for their 2 schools that are out in the county and $150 for those that I inspect in the city. And child care centers, I'm looking at increasing those to be the same. The new fee for child care would be $175, regardless of if children bring their own snacks from home. It really has nothing to do with the time that the inspection takes. And then we're looking at increasing reinspection fees from $100 to $150 per reinspection. I can tell you that obviously is to discourage repeat visits and reinspections. And also, it seems like we would take a hit if Bureau Veritas were to do those reinspections, but I can guarantee you I'll be doing all reinspections myself. So we wouldn't take a hit on that. Any questions?
Mayor, I don't know if I can talk on this or not, since I have a restaurant. I do have questions.
Yes, you can converse with us as long as you don't mention your restaurant.
I will not mention it.
Well,
But, you know, I don't like going up on rates, not just because I have one. I pay a bar license. I pay a lot of license, like the other people you talked about. So you're almost doubling the restaurant alone. Furthermore, every time we have a comparison to the city, it seems like it's always with a bigger city. We don't have anything compared to a city of 6,000 people on there.
Okay.
Fort Worth is a lot bigger. Richmond is a lot bigger. Weatherford's bigger. Every one of those. Stephenville. So, you know, if we're raising a deal just to pay for the other service we just approved first, then I just don't see. I mean, there's 2 restaurants. One already closed. The other's going to close the first of the month. And everybody's struggling right now. And to go out and say, I want to have more taxes on any of these, not just restaurants. We're all in a slump right now. And I just think it's a real stiff increase there.
Mayor, let me ask, it's from a financial standpoint of view, I think that Councilperson Allen brings up some good points. I'm not excited about burdening the business people any more than we have in the past. So do we know if we've done the same inspections as we did the year before with the fee that was charged there? Wayne, do we know what would be the increased revenue to the city over a year's time using the same numbers where we inspected last year? Do you have those numbers?
Yes, it'll be on the previous slide.
Okay, let's see.
So the current fee revenue would be about $24,925, and with new fees, it'd be around $41,350.
Yeah, I'm gonna be more inclined to say for that small amount of revenue, I don't want to burden the business people, so I would not, support that.
I do want to mention that if you look at the new fee column and compare it to the Bureau Veritas, thank you. I don't know why I can't spit that one out. Inspection fee for that same establishment, that they are $300 straight across the board. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Irregardless of what the city is charging.
Explain it to me, Mayor. I want to follow you here. You're saying they're going to charge us, Veritas is going to charge us a straight fee, and we're not going to be able to recoup that fee?
They charge a flat fee of $300 regardless of establishment type.
Mm-hmm.
Our current fees are all below $300, some more significantly than others. So if you look at the column that says 2 Bureau Veritas, 2 BV inspections, that would cost the city $47,700. If we kept our fees as they are now, the revenue is $24,925. So you see about a $23,000 difference between those two if we don't touch fees.
No disrespect then, what you're telling us is that if we've already done it, you moved that agenda item forward, and we did that first. So I want to make sure I'm getting this correct so I don't misspeak here. We moved the agenda item up first and agreed to a contract with Veritas. And now we're understanding it's $300 per restaurant, per inspection, and we're seeing that we're in arrears now if we do our inspection as normal because we're not charging enough. Well, and I don't know, why it went that way, but bottom line is I'm not going to change my position, and I'm sorry that I didn't catch it on motion number 3. So I apologize.
Any other discussion regarding this item?
Well, this item is not it. I apologize to you, Mayor. I was going back to where Mr. Tyra was on the other deal. I was confused because I think maybe we should have done that one first and we'd had all the facts. But it's a little bit late now.
We can reconsider in the same meeting, can't we, Attorney?
A motion to reconsider any action of the City Council may be made, seconded, and voted on not later than the next succeeding meeting of the City Council. If reconsideration of the City Council action has not been posted on the City Council agenda for the meeting at which the motion to reconsider is made, actual reconsideration of the item must be delayed until the next meeting after the posting requirements of the Open Meetings Act are met.
So it can't happen this meeting?
You can happen if you just reopen item number 3.
Yeah, just reopen it.
Just reopen it. And more if you want to.
Well, I think it'd be appropriate since we're on item 3 right now. I'm going to move that we do not approve the ordinance before us tonight. That's my motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Tyra. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Allen. Any further discussion regarding the fee schedule ordinance that we have before us?
Mr. Mayor, can I make a statement here?
Yes, please pull the mic down to you.
When we bring this back up, could it be combined? That both? Why is it that 3 and 4 has to be separated? Why couldn't we just have both of them together, hiring the company with a fee?
My understanding is that we need it separated because we need to change the fee schedule by ordinance.
Makes it kind of difficult to sit there and try to approve one and not the other. They both go hand in hand.
Right.
I'm asking the attorney here, I guess.
You don't have a problem talking about them together if you want to, but you have to have two separate motions. One motion to approve an ordinance and one motion to approve a contract. But if you want to talk about them at the same time, that's fine.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you. Mr. Perkle. Could you say that where we could hear you?
I basically said, does Tony have a conflict of interest? If he does, we just need to have that straight. So if we pass something, it doesn't come back later and bite us.
No, that's good. That's good. That's why I asked the counselor.
That's why I asked.
No, that's fine.
I think the safest thing to do would be to step down.
Okay. Does that mean that then he has to withdraw that second?
Only on, not on the contract issue, just on the fee structure issue.
Okay. So, well, but we're still dealing with 3 right now. So right now we're still on item number 3.
We are on item number 3.
So I'm going to need to restate my motion and see if I can get a second. Is that correct? Is that what you're asking for, attorney? Okay. I'm going to go with the same motion that we not approve the ordinance for the Granbury Master Fee Schedule, and period.
Once again, we have a motion on the floor to not adopt the change in fee schedule.
Can I ask a question?
Not yet. Need a second? I've got a second from Mr. Hewlett.
Okay. Becky, is this going to put a hardship on the department to change this back as far as financially?
Change this back to
The schedule, if we change the schedule.
leave it as is, the current fee schedule
Yes,
for health
yes.
inspections?
Does that mean that
Well-
you won't be able to hire her?
I think I can answer that. You know, if we are approving the contract with the Bureau of Veritas,
Yeah.
then what happens is it will not cover that fee. It would be a financial issue of about, what is it, $23,000.
$23,000.
So the taxpayer pays that difference really as opposed to the person.
Yeah, we have to take that out of general fund and making the business
Right.
people pay for it. I mean, I understand the concept, and I think he asked a great question.
That's fine.
I just like the idea that Mr. Hewlett brought forward is maybe this comes back up at a different meeting. We have time to look at it, put it under one umbrella, and maybe even go back to Veritas and talk to them again as far as the actual fees itself. But, I mean, I hear the council loud and clear, and I respect that.
Well, I would like to mention that the contract that you have before you that we just discussed and passed comes with standard fees as was informed of us. Those fees are already established by that company. So that was the reason for bringing the contract before council first before we discuss the fee schedule, is whether or not you want to hire an additional person at a cost of more than 47,000 feet to cover the inspections, or we move forward with
But one does have something to do with the
subcontracting.
other.
Granted.
That schedule about
The fee schedule.
the fee schedule? I would just point out that here in the Granbury community, if you're not in the city, you're paying the state fee. So we're in the city, restaurants greater than 20, the people in the city are paying $175. If you're across that city line right now, you're paying $773.
No, that's those. You're actually paying
State fee.
right. You're paying. Is it $256?
Yeah.
The lowest state fee.
Well, but no, I was looking for 773 restaurants greater than 20.
It's based on sales, so that's their highest
That's
level
their
of
highest-
sales
okay,
volume.
What is the amount they're paying?
They start at $258. The lowest state fee is
It goes
$258.
up to 773.
Yes.
So we're looking at the highest. Right?
You're looking at the highest right there, but you do. I mean, if you're in that, I mean, you could have greater than 20, the highest sales here, and still pay 175, and be comparable to the 773, couldn't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Mayor, is it a it's a situation that if we vote on, obviously we're going to vote on 3. The question will be called in a moment. and then there'll be a reconsideration or not a reconsideration. I understand how this hinges on that, but we could bring it up at the next meeting if there could be some negotiations with Veritas on that fee. But I understand where you're coming from, and so I'm just going to ask to call the question.
All in favor of not accepting the ordinance as presented before us to adjust the fee schedule, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay.
Nay.
Let the record show that only one person voted in the nay, and that was Councilman Perkle. With that being said, the fee schedule will remain as is.
Now, Mayor, I think that according to the city attorney...
Let's bring
okay.
Councilman Allen back in. He's down at the restaurant, I'm sure.
You ran out the back door. Mayor, with Councilman Allen back in the room now, and with the decision by the city attorney to allow him to vote and to participate in item number 4, I'd like for us to reconsider item number 4 in light of the information that was received and in light of the vote of not passing the ordinance. If we could reconsider number 4.
So at this time, we'll reconsider item number 4, which is consider and approve a master professional service agreement with Bureau Veritas for retail food establishment inspections within the city of Granbury. Item is now open.
Mayor, I move that we do not approve the master professional service agreement with Bureau Veritas at this time.
We have a motion. Need a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Mr. Hewlett. Any further discussion regarding the agreement?
I would wonder why it relates that way. I mean, we're talking about a staffing issue. We're not talking about a fee issue. So you want to burden our staff at these high inspection levels? Is that, I'm not sure I understand what that.
No, I believe that we received something in our packet, and it was given to us, and now that we see that the inspection person has come before us, what I understand from her is that she is seeing more increase. She talked about things in the future, so maybe at this time, and that's why I said at this time, maybe at this time we continue as we are and look and get back with Veritas and renegotiate and come back with a package, and we do it all at one time like Mr. Hewlett said, so we can actually get here and understand, okay, here's why we're voting for this, because it's going to do this, and it's all going to flow together. That's all I'm asking.
I have a question regarding the fee schedule that I see, Exhibit B, in the contract. It states inspection only, $150 per inspection, 2 inspections. The fee that we saw that is $175, Ms. Malden, is that per inspection or just the one-time inspection?
That is the $175 fee.
That the city currently charges.
That the city currently charges is for the year. It's an annual fee.
It's an annual
fee. So
fee.
it's 2 inspections, most likely.
All right. I just wanted clarification of that.
So it's $300 for 2 inspections. Is that correct? No.
Yes,
No,
from Bureau Veritas, but
Bureau
it is
Veritas.
still only $175 annually.
We're losing
Yeah,
$100
yeah,
a
no,
quarter.
I just wanted to confirm that
And that's-
ours was not per inspection.
And you said you were going to use these for the restaurants, these 100%?
All retail food.
All retail food. So all these, there's also other things that we charge for there. Is that 24,000 number that we say we're going in arrears on? Does that consider the money that we're not going to make? Because if you're going to make those inspections, you see what I'm saying? Or did we look at that? See, because we are going to make your money when you inspect the things we're charging that lower fee, 175, 150. If we put the numbers in here to offset that, or we look at a number that doesn't have that in there?
Say that one more time, Councilman, because I got lost. Are you talking about food service inspections? Because food service inspections are not just at restaurants.
Just want to make sure.
These are all retail food permits, including child care centers, nursing homes, concession stands, and school
And you're going to
districts.
have, and we talked about 159 inspections.
159 establishments.
Okay,
So
so-
twice that is the number of inspections that I conduct.
And so or you're not going to make any inspections in, that would be everything. So everything would be $300. Is that correct?
If we use Bureau Veritas for everything, it would be $300. Yes, sir. My plan is not to use Bureau Veritas for everything. My plan would be to give them the more time-consuming inspections, all the full-service restaurants and bars, fast food restaurants, and I could possibly handle child care centers, catering companies, concession stands.
And so that's my point, is we know that right now, if we went through with this, that we would be losing money on the ones that they do. But I'm saying, do we have the number here of the ones that you do? It'll offset that. Do we have that number in here? That's all I'm asking.
Of the ones that I'm planning on doing?
That's correct.
No, I don't, because
Okay,
I have no way to
We know
know.
that 24,000 would be a lesser number. Mayor, can I?
Yes, Mr. Allen, you may ask.
I wish y'all would amend the motion, and let's bring this back up in 30 days and give us time.
We're that's what I said at this point. They can bring it back to us anytime they want. So it's up to staff to bring it back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, what we have on the floor right now is a motion to not move forward with this contract.
And if Becky wanted to bring it back up, or staff, they can bring it back up.
That is correct.
Okay. Exactly. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I said this time.
So we have a motion and a second to not approve the contract that we have before us with Bureau Veritas at this time. All in favor of not approving the contract, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving us on to item number 5 in the deliberation agenda, consider and approve a request for a Level 1 tax abatement for the primary structure located at 226 East Pearl Street, pursuant to the City of Granbury Historic Neighborhood Incentive Zone Program. The applicant is David and Claudia Southern, and this is a local landmark number 1, site number 50 on the historic inventory. This is a first landmark approved by the City of Granbury, and it was approved on June 1st, 1999. Scott, if you would, please enlighten us on what this tax abatement means to the City of Granbury, please, sir.
Mayor, Council, Mr. Manager, this particular proposal is a owner-occupied residence located on Pearl Street. The proposed HNIZ incentive would amount to $835 annually based on this year's valuation of the structure, and it comes forward to you with a Historic Commission report of approval. They met on June 23rd, 2011.
Thank you. Any questions for staff or for the applicant from council? Entertain a motion to approve the tax abatement for 226 East Pearl.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Parson, a second by Mr. Perkel. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 6. Consider and approve a request for a Level 1 tax abatement for the primary structure located at 826 Thorpe Springs Road, pursuant to the City of Granbury Historic Neighborhood Incentive Zone Program. Applicant's name, David and Claudia Southern. This is local landmark number 24, dated June 16th, 2008, site number 208 on the historic inventory. This house has one difference than the one we just previously discussed in the fact that it is a community home. And can you talk to us regarding the regulations and how you differ a community home from that of a local residence, or is there any?
Based on our zoning ordinance, Mayor, Council, Mr. Manager, there's no distinction. Our zoning ordinance, which again we use as a keystone element in assessing the land use, classifies it as a by right residential application. It's classified as a community care facility in our zoning ordinance. And when you look at our matrix in the zoning ordinance, there's a P there, which is basically a permitted by right application. I know it was brought up on the last go-around, I think by one of the council members, about B&Bs, for example. Again, when you look at that land use matrix, you'll see an S there. It's not a P. It's not a permitted by right application. It's a discretionary specific use only allowance. So that's the distinction. The zoning ordinance classifies it, plus this has the added protection in state statute under what was classified as the Human Resource Code, where community care facilities can't be disenfranchised in a residential zoning district by a municipal regulation. So it has added protection under state law.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, it's not just the zoning ordinance, but it's actually section 123.003 of the Texas Human Resources Code that specifically says when a home is considered a community home, and it has some definitions in here and what the qualifications are. It qualifies under state law that that is a residence. That's what it says.
Okay. Very good. So with that under our belt, so to speak, council, entertain a motion to consider and approve the request for a level 1 tax abatement for this structure located at 826 Thorpe Springs. Entertain a motion at this time.
Entertain a motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Hewlett, a second by Mr. Perkel. Now we can open it up for any discussion or questions we may have regarding this.
Mayor, and I talked to Stuart briefly on this, but this doesn't interfere with bed and breakfasts whatsoever. Like Scott's saying, this is a deal because of the state. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Now, this does not open the door to people that own bed and breakfast and running a business to come in here and get this same type of abatement. It does not open the door to that.
That's correct. It does not.
Yeah, well, let me ask the attorney. It does.
No, I think the distinction comes from the Human Resources Code
correct,
and that
yeah.
definition of the community home.
Scott, so clearly.
What's the savings on that?
It is based on this year's valuation, $556 per year.
So with that out there, any other questions regarding this? Any questions of the applicant? Calling for the question. All in favor of the tax abatement for 826 Thorpe Springs, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item number 7 that we have before us is conduct a public hearing regarding the request of Willie Jensen to appeal a decision made by the Granbury Historic Preservation Commission on June 9, 2011. The applicant is appealing the Historic Commission action regarding the installation of advertising flags or pennants on weekends along the metal fence and the use of multicolored lights beneath the existing porch cover. The property is located at 430 East Pearl Street. Consider this public hearing now open. With that, Scott, if you can please start us off with what this is regarding.
Mayor, Council, this request for certificate of appropriateness for the 2 agenda items were presented to the Historic Commission. Actually, it was packaged in 4 agenda items, 2 of which were denied. The first of which was the installation of, as proposed by the applicant, multicolored lights beneath the existing porch cover. If you look to the upper right of your screen, that's the eave. He was looking at meandering a strand of multicolored lights under the eave that you see highlighted with a red square. The second of which is a proposal to display party flags with advertising along the railing. If you look to the lower left, he has basically a blue wrought iron rail that spans horizontally along the length of the streetscape that's highlighted in red. So in essence, these are those plastic pennants with beer logos or whatever the case may be that would be strewn along that railing. With regard to these applications, you can see, and we put the motion of the Historic Commission, it was a pretty close vote. The motion to deny was 4-3 across the board. I can tell you there was some level of discussion that this particular piece of property was removed somewhat from the historic downtown square to warrant a little more latitude. So that's why you see the split vote that you see before you. That, in essence, is the sum of the deliberations. However, both agenda items failed by a vote of 4-3, and the applicant did, upon getting his notice of the decision by the Historic Commission, file his appeal for council reconsideration.
And so he did meet the deadline on the appellant process. Is that correct?
Yes, Mayor.
All right. I need you to.
Yeah. I see where the lights are going, Mayor, and I know where the banner's going, but on the third page over, it says eliminated signs on the building.
That part was approved, sir. Items 1 and 2 were approved. Items 3 and 4 were not approved. He's appealing to us for items 3 and 4.
So they approved it, all right.
Just so you understand.
Yeah.
Mr.
Now,
Mayor,
yes, sir.
would you ask the manager to then enlighten us as to what our ordinances outside of this historic district are as it relates to items 3 and 4?
Say that one more time. Ask.
Could we have some advice as to what the ordinances are outside of the historic overlay for items 3 and 4?
As far as seasonal lighting and the such,
And
is that
the flag, yes.
Yeah.
What ordinance?
If this was outside of the
Overlay.
jurisdiction of the overlay district, what governs the flags and the pennants and the lighting?
This is actually in the historic preservation overlay. So the overlay itself not only includes the historic square, but also includes the north side of Pearl Street encompassing this property as well.
Right, but I think what Councilman Parson is asking, beyond that point, if you were to step outside of the overlay district, is there any local restrictions, ordinances, that stop you from putting the pendants out there as temporary signs?
No. Interestingly enough, the preservation overlay is on the north side, the compatibility overlay is on the south side. So if you were to walk across the street, then these particular design guidelines would not apply.
Either issue, is that correct?
On either issue. The only thing that would apply would be the permitting of new structures.
In other words, if his restaurant was on the beach parking lot property, he could do whatever he wanted.
77.
Correct.
Correct.
Outside the preservation overlay, that's correct.
There is a restriction on how long the party flags can be displayed, though. Is that correct? Before they have to be taken down. He has some 10 days, I believe, or 30 days.
What's being requested by the applicant, and again, because he's in the preservation overlay, the certificate of appropriateness applies whatever term limitation. So the Historic Commission and upon appeal, City Council has the latitude to say for temporary banners, those instructions supersede our general zoning requirements. What was being requested here was, if I fall short of my mark, help me out here, Friday and Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, just on some weekends. They're not a permanent type flag you leave up year round. They're just advertisement during like special events or stuff like that.
Willie, you are Willie Jensen. Can I get you to state your name and your address for the record, please, sir?
Yeah, William Jensen, 2200 Summerlin Court, Granbury, Texas.
All right. I think council has a few questions for you, sir, if you don't mind.
Yeah, William, I appreciate what you said. That's the only thing I wanted to clarify. What is your intention? How often do you want to put these things out?
Just every now and then on the weekends.
Okay.
I mean, I don't turn my beer lights on Sunday. I mean, just sometimes on the weekends I may want to do like a party or something on the porch, and then I'd like to be able to put them up.
All right. Thank you.
And what's the purpose for the colored lights?
Well, I think that the colored lights set the mood on the porch and maybe facilitate drawing a younger crowd. I mean,
currently you have fluorescent lights, I believe, underneath on.
Yeah, 2 blue fluorescent lights, and they attract bugs, and they're just ugly.
Bugs are not good for a restaurant setting.
No.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Well, I can't entertain that motion just yet. No, we're still in an open public hearing. At this time, any other questions for Mr. Jensen from council? Thank you, sir. If you would, take a seat. Anybody out in the public want to speak on this particular item? This is your chance. No takers. We'll close this public hearing. At this time, I can entertain your motion, sir.
So moved.
No, I don't know what your motion is. Nice to try to get me to state your motion, though. What is your motion, Councilman?
Okay, I make a motion to approve the, already turned it around now, Mayor. Item number 3 and item number 4, install multicolored lights beneath the existing porch cover and display of party flags with advertising along the rail surrounding the porch on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only.
All right. So we have a motion. I need a second, please.
Second.
We have a second from Mr. Tyra. The motion, once again, is to display the party flags only on the weekends, so Friday, Saturday, and Sundays only, along with the installation of multicolored lights beneath the existing porch cover. Any other discussion? I need you to speak into the microphone.
Does this have to be more people voting for it since it's we're overriding? Don't.
No, it's just simple majority.
Just typical. No super majority on this one. It's just typical. Right.
It's not like planning and zoning.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All in favor of approval as outlined, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Good business to you, sir. Item number 8, discuss and consider proposals from show producers for the Granbury Opera House, including the possible approval of a second amendment to the contract between the City of Granbury, Granbury Historic Properties, and Texas Family Musicals. In your packet, Council, you did receive a draft copy of proposed amendments, along with a copy of the original agreement dated October 2008. Anyone want to open the discussion?
Yeah, I was, and does the council understand too that we have a group from Cleveland here to speak to us as well? I didn't know if the council understood that we're actually two producers, two show producers here tonight.
Well, we can entertain discussion from that second show producer. Let's first go into this amendment to the contract between the City of Granbury and Texas Family Musicals. One thing that you'll please take note of is the Exhibit A shall be amended to read as follows. Show producer, cast, and crew will vacate and remove all of their equipment or other property from the Quonset hut by September 6, 2011. But under this new amendment, they would wind up being able to occupy the Opera House building and remove and vacate that by December 31st, 2011. And the producer and crew and staff will vacate the dormitory property on January 31st of 2012. Also, please note that Section 15, talking about the fee schedule that the show producer agrees to, please note that July 2011, also August 2011, under the existing contract, read at the amount of $5,000. Under this proposed amendment, it rolls back to $2,500 for both those months. Also, for September 2011, which would be the date that we hope to see some work begin on the alleyway, should it be approved by council, there would be no receipt of any kind of income from the Texas Family Musicals for the month of September, but it would pick back up in October, November, and December in the amount of $2,500 for each one of those months. That's pretty much basically the bulk of the changes that are in the agreement we had fired back. This is basically a counter-proposal from Texas Family Musicals regarding the city and the council's position at the last council meeting. Any discussion regarding this?
Well, Mayor,
go ahead. Mayor, you said they're going to move out of the dorm on January the what, 30th?
Out of the dormitory, they will be out of there by January 31st of 2012.
There'll be no rent for that?
There's no additional rent covered. The rent monies that you see in the agreement actually cover access to all of the venues that are currently under their use, which is the Opera House, the Quonset hut, and the Opera House dormitory.
I understand that, but from December 2011, they're going to pay $2,500.
That is correct.
But if they're going to keep the building to January the 31st, could there be any rent on that or not?
One building.
That's something for discussion, Councilman.
You rent an apartment, you're going to pay for
That is,
room.
you've made a good point, sir.
Mayor, could we hear, since last time, I think one of the problems that the council had, and we've gotten some emails since then, and I appreciate the emails, but if there's any questions, I believe that we asked Mr. Skiles to be here. So
Let me ask, is Mr. Skiles in the audience? Oh, I see you now. You're ducked down. Would you care to come up here and go over your proposal, please, sir? And if you would, state the name, address for us.
You got your bulletproof vest on?
There's no bullets flying here, sir.
Yeah. My name is Mike Skiles, 3501 Huntington Lane in Bedford, Texas. And you know, the January is not a problem with us. You know, we just put that in there because we're talking about that'd be the time we clean it up and things like that, make sure it's clean where we left it. So we don't have a problem with January. So, you know, December 31st, we're fine with that. Understand fully, you know, what we're doing here. We got a call from Mr. Tyra who asked if we would be interested in staying until December 31st to allow the council time to, you know, do more planning on the building since there's going to be some new city council members and so forth and so on. And I went back to the board, our board, and you know, sort of reluctantly, they said, yes, we will, because we're taking a beating this summer. I don't make any bones about it. So, you know, do we want more of that? And so we're willing to stay because, you know, we've been here through the long haul of 5 years, getting it up where it, you know, is operating and going, and we don't want to do anything at the very end to just, you know, set it back or anything like that. And, you know, like I've said before, if there's somebody willing to come in September, we will step aside. But we're not looking to stay. But we will stay, and we'll do the best job we can during those 3 months to make sure that there is entertainment on the square, and we'll do the best we can to make sure it's good entertainment on the square.
Well, I don't think any of us here on council are objective to the fact that September would basically be a dead month, which we don't really expect to collect rent on it.
Right.
But with that being said, the anticipation is already out there that the contract that you're currently under terms out on Labor Day weekend, I believe, of this year. And under the existing agreement, the Quonset hut would need to be cleaned out by that time so that some sort of reconstruction process could happen. Irregardless of whether this contract extension is approved or not, you state that the extension for the Quonset hut is still under the impression that you can be out of that and vacate that facility by that time. Is that correct?
That was one of the things we discussed because I think you had mentioned that you wanted to get to work on this thing in September. And we said we would make allowances for that. And, you know, if the Quonset hut's not available, we won't use it. And but we bow to that because we're wanting the improvements and the renovations to start so it can get right back in business, you know. And so we're willing to do that. And, you know, we said that we'd bear the cost for building elsewhere and whatever, and even dealing with dressing rooms and so forth would make that allowance at our cost. So we're willing to do that. Now, September, historically, we lose about $5,000, $5,500 every September. It just happens. So that's the reason we're saying, let us get out in September. We won't be anybody there. And that allows y'all full use of the building to go in and do your measurements or whatever you need to do in planning during that month. And then we'll be back in October, November, and December to do the shows. We're not adverse if you say we've got to have that rent there for September. We'll go with that. We'll put theater school, possibly a community theater show or something like that. You know, we're being flexible. You know, like I say, we're not coming in trying to gouge anybody, and that's one of the things that concerned me from the last meeting, because my proposal, it looked like we were trying to take advantage of the fact there wasn't going to be a theater here, and we're going to profit from it. That's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to come in and make sure that we leave on a high note. You know, as any of the staff people can say, we've played the high road ever since we've been here, and we're not going to stop at this point.
Well, in the original agreement, you anticipated fairly good turnout for the entire summer, or else you wouldn't have proposed the $5,000 for the June, July, and August.
Exactly.
I think you anticipated a windstorm during those particular months because they are the peak summer season to have production in.
Right.
Yet what I'm seeing in this proposal as well as in the previous proposal, you're still asking for July and August to be at the amount of $2,500, sir.
Right. Basically, the fact is I was asked to stay for 3 months. What we take? That's what we'll take. That's what we said. We didn't come up and try to gouge anybody or anything like that. Yes, we expected, more. We weren't expecting it to cut back like it did. And, of course, we're doing the bigger shows and whatever. And, for example, we're paying for Joseph's Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat $850 every time it runs at a professional license. And then with Hello Dolly, we're paying $1,450 every time it runs.
But as a show producer, you understand that.
We understand it fully.
Sure.
But we also, go up and down. We've never lost money since in the 16 years we've been in business, and we don't want to start now. And like I said, we're hoping to get it down by a certain time. It's business approach to us. We'll be willing to stay, but we need that kind of for the organization. I'm an unpaid person. I'm the president of the organization, so it's not the fact that we're going to look for a profit. I think we've sent exactly how much profit we've made ever since we've been here. The most we've ever made has been $8,600 approximately, and the least we ever made was about $1,000.
Mike, one thing I wanted to bring up that you brought up, you sent us an email, you sent the council
Right.
an email, and you said you made some statements in there, and I just wanted to clarify one. When you took over and you made this arrangement with the city early on when you first went in,
Right.
you were told by the city that there would be a few free tickets out there that you'd have to honor. Am I correct? You thought that was to the tune of $3,000 or $4,000, and it turned out to be $17,000 in free
$17,000. We honored, in fact, we had there's an ad that came out in the paper that says, anybody that's holding tickets, for the organization, that for tickets, as you know, the organization closed, and there's some tickets sold on some shows that didn't happen. And we thought, nobody told us from the city, I think it was just sort of a misjudgment on all of us, that we thought, $2,000, $3,000, just for that 1 or 2 shows. But it turned out it's $17,000, right under $17,000, and we ate it. And then additional, what we did to get the Opera House back on even keel, there's a lot of local people out here that owed money. We, in turn, gave close to $4,000 worth of tickets away in lieu of their payments to the city. But that's part of the way we do it. The only reason I emphasize that in the letter is that we came in the spirit of helping. That was it. That's what we came here for. I honestly believe that it's time for us to go. It's time, the best way we can help now is go out in a high note and then help anybody that comes in with whatever we can do.
So are you clear here tonight to tell the audience and us that your company is not interested in going any further past December with the city of Granbury?
No, none at all. Because, see, we've been waiting every time, as Wayne can probably tell you, every time the contract came up, we said, is there anybody else? And we asked. And then we had a gentleman that absorbed it for about 4 months. We thought that he was going to do it. He didn't show up, and we came back and got it back in again. But, I'm very happy that there's some other people coming in because we never came to stay. We only came to get this organization back on keel. It's a personal thing with me. I'll tell you up front that my mom, and her church ladies, they came here every weekend, and my mother thought Joanne Miller was higher on the scale than Ethel Merman. And so, I've always had that thing. I don't want the Opera House to close. And we're not doing anything on the way in or way out. It's sort of like, we hear rumors right and left that we're moving to Weatherford. We're not moving to Weatherford. Came out in the paper. We were surprised as anybody. And that we've put a couple of shows over there to help the owners out that are having an extreme financial problem, and it helped them. And we sold the little houses. We're going to do one in Stephenville due to one of our overzealous producer interns set that up. When I went down, I saw the stage. It wasn't safe. I pulled out. Of course, that didn't make people happy. But it was the fact that, no, our home is going to be in Louisville after we leave here, and we'll go back to Galveston. This past year, we were planning on going to Galveston until Mickey called us and wanted to stay until Labor Day. And I will tell you, we made some judgment mistakes. That was mine. I've said the same thing to our board of directors. I take the heat on it because I did it hastily, and normally I'm not that way. I usually think things out a little bit better than that. So I made the judgments that, because we already had these shows set up down in Galveston. in turn, I had the contract with Rogers Hammerstein and so forth, so I just moved the Galveston here. And that was not a smart move because we have more shows in Galveston because the tourists are 7 days a week down there. But here they're like, as you know, 2 days a week, so I had to eat it. And we were uphill struggle the whole way, you know, putting the shows in. But we did shows on Thursdays, we got shows on Wednesdays, and we had to come in finally to put America the Beautiful in on Wednesdays and Thursdays to offset this. So, you know, there's nobody else that I can point a finger to but me, and most likely if it winds up at the end, I'll have to eat it.
Mr. Parson, you have some questions?
Yeah. Mike, I wanted to thank you for the job you've done for us, and you were the right man we needed for the deal at the right time. I did want to make certain for the record that the ticket liability and the other liabilities that related to the Opera House were not obligations of the city, but were obligation of the association that operated the Opera House before we bought it from the bank. We merely bought the buildings. We did not buy the operation. So I appreciate your taking that liability and being kind to the vendors or being kind to the people that had the tickets, but those were not liabilities of the city.
We weren't aware. I mean, we would have done it either way. I mean, you know, because it didn't need to be hanging out there that the Opera House had ripped people out of that much tickets, and it would have been, as we all know.
But they were not our liabilities at
that
point.
They
were the
I wasn't
liability
aware.
of the company that was.
It was a liability. We didn't, you know, whatever.
Any other questions for Mr. Skiles?
Mike, I don't know you very well. I met you twice, I think. I do thank you for what you've done in a short time I've been here. But I got two questions for you. You said that y'all never lost money there. You always made money, from 85 down to 1,500. Why are you wanting not to do it? Is it not making enough money, or is the shows beginning to slow down?
No, Tony, it's time. It's just flat time. You know, we've done our job. You know, we're getting criticism from a certain factor that we don't understand. And when you know, my dad was a Baptist minister, and the way we lived back then, you know, when the criticism, unjust or whatever, was coming too far, it's time to move because your mission is somewhere else. We're treated honestly like kings at Louisville. I mean, I don't want to say that, but I mean we are. And I mean the city has bought billboards on the way in, on the way out, and you know they're whining us and dining us.
Sure.
So, but it's for no fault of ours or whatever. Just some things we just can't do right here, and so therefore it's time to move on and give the reins to somebody else that has that type of free, you know, ready to go. You know, I was told when I came here by the previous people, you got 5 years. That's what Joanne Miller told that person. It's sort of like the factor of having that letter in the envelope. It's time. And so, you know, the worst thing we can do is overstay, you know, our welcome. You know, it's sort of like, you know, past 5 years, it's sort of like dead fish. It's going to start stinking after about 5 years. And we smell pretty good right now.
Well, I want to get back to the money.
All right.
All right. Council proposed that we stick with the July and the August payment in the amount of $5,000. If we approve the rest of this agreement, are you on board with that, or do you need to go back to your board? And
Mayor, I really need to speak to just exactly what you talked about, because it was very clear that the council made a decision and he made a counter. This is his counter, so that there hadn't been a decision made except when we made it at the last meeting.
I'm asking a question. Do you mind? I don't just ask my question.
Okay, and then I want to comment on that specific, because that's the point of all we're here. Okay, good, because that's the contention.
You ready? Once again, yeah, we had proposed in the previous offer to you to keep the rates at $5,000 for both of those 2 months. Now, you say you've got to run stuff past the board. You've came back with some counter proposals, basically extending the dates and that kind of stuff as to when you would be out of the facility. But other than that, I see a $0 amount for September. Do you have the authority tonight to say yay or nay on this?
No.
That's all I needed.
I'm president of the board, but there's 5 people on our board,
Sure.
and you know, I talked them into staying the last time, and I'm gun shy of taking any more than what I did this time because I've been reminded several times we would have been okay if we had to stay.
Sure. Councilman Tyra?
Thank you. So, Mike, let me clarify this again for myself and for the audience that wasn't here before. There was a motion made before, and we made a motion and sent it to you, and you guys rejected it. You said you couldn't do it, and you came back, okay, because it was going to go dark. We found out about the Granbury Live closing, so no theater downtown after August or the first weekend in September, whatever. You guys saw our motion, you saw what we approved, and you didn't like it. You came back with what we're seeing right here today.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, what I'm asking you is there any wiggle room? So, and I think the mayor just asked that. So if this is what you all can live with.
The only thing there's a wiggle room that I asked at the meeting if they agree to, because if the September was an issue, we would go ahead and continue in September and run, put another theater school to offset that, and also put community theater. But you got to remember, every time that we stay there, it's not that we've got to hire people to be there.
Okay, and so you've tonight told us, and you just showed it, you have discretion to give us $2,500 in September, where we got September right now, it was zero, okay?
Right.
So you got that discretion. So that's something you can concede to here tonight. We can go forward.
Do that.
Okay?
Right.
Okay. So other than that, do you see your board doing anything else?
No.
Okay. So does that mean then that you guys would not extend for 3 months?
I would say not.
Okay. Yeah, because I want to make sure we get this resolved, because I thought I heard it very clearly, especially in your email, that if we don't get this done tonight, you're not interested in this. And the contention is the July and the August, because it's reduced in this extension to $2,500 a month, where in the original it was $5,000. So that's the contention. And so what I'm saying to my colleagues is, if they want to do that, then go. Let you walk out, and we'll have a dark for 3 months. But I'm saying let's do that so we can have somebody down here October, November, December. Let's you've already given us $2,500 back, so that's going to be the way I'm going to move forward. But if they don't want it and they want to vote that way, well then we appreciate everything you've done, and we'll have it dark October, November, December.
Anybody else have any discussion regarding
Yes, I
this?
do.
Mr. Purple.
When are we going to start working on the Quonset hut? If we're going to do it in September, it'd be a lot easier to work if nobody was around. And it's going to be worth our trouble to ask $2,500 more, which you said, September.
Thank you, Mr. Perkle. I think that's a good point.
Why can't we eat that?
I'm with you on that. I'm saying, hey, we ought to eat it right now and get it done, have somebody here for October, November, December, and get on with something else. But before we vote, we need to hear from the gentleman from Cleburne.
I have one question about Mr. Perkle. If we don't have the drawings on the redoing of, or Mayor, the redoing of the Opera House, will that interfere with the plans that we're working on, or will that not interfere with them?
No, because we're talking demolition at this point, taking out and gutting the Quonset hut, which does not need to have any plans as far as how you demolish something.
All right, in other words, the back of it, where the drain was going to be put, if they decide to build a building in the back of it, that won't interfere with what we're trying to do. I just don't want to do it twice.
Even if you were to go straight out from the back, depending on what plan that is decided on, the location of the drainage and the water and stuff would not be in that footprint. Okay. It would be back to the east of that. But it would still be under the existing Quonset hut or through the existing Quonset hut. But it would not be directly behind the Opera House.
Okay. Just a question. If they did the drain through the Opera House, or I'm sorry, through the
that's not what we're discussing here, sir.
I understand,
just so you know.
Perkle brought it up, and I just want to make sure we're understanding that it could cost us more money if we do it in September. If we're going to doze down the Quonset hut in January, would it save us money by waiting? That's all I'm asking.
Sir, that's not on the agenda about dozing out.
Asked, but I'm just saying, never mind.
Dozing the Quonset hut is not on the agenda tonight, sir.
Yeah. Again, I reemphasize our offer.
It's more about the backstage access.
Quonset hut you know, if that's what you need, we'll let you have it. We'll make arrangements because we don't want to stand in the way of the renovation done.
Thank you very much, Mr. Skiles. I understand we have somebody from Plaza Theater Group here. Welcome, sir. If you would, state your name, your address for us, please.
Thank you, Mayor. G. Aaron Seiler, 1624 Turtle Dove Drive in Cleveland, Texas. I'm Director of Operations for the Cleveland Performing Arts Foundation. We do business as Plaza Theater Company in Cleveland, Texas. We've been in operations now for over 4 years. In the past 4 years, we've grown at an extremely aggressive rate. We currently have just over 950 season ticket holders. Where our theater is right now limited to only 158 seats. We play every single weekend, 10 different productions a year, accumulating over 200 right at 201 performances each year. We also have a theater arts school, theater arts camp. We also do children's theater productions as well. I'm here today, however, on behalf of an associate group whose intention it is to make a very strong proposal for the long-term contract at the Granbury Opera House with the City of Cleveland. We actually think that there is an opportunity here using the model of theater that we have been doing in Cleveland now for the past 4 years, and we're very interested in doing that as well. At the Plaza Theater Company in Cleveland, we actually were started by a group with the Downtown Cleveland Association, which is a group of merchants located in downtown Cleveland. They actually hired a consulting company called City Inc., which is the same company that helped put together Sundance Square in Fort Worth, looking to them on how they can help revitalize their downtown. It's my personal opinion that Cleveland would aspire to have a great downtown like Granbury does, as I'm sure many people in this room would agree with me. One at the top of their list was actually to bring in live entertainment that would run consistently to get feet out of the cars and on the sidewalks in the downtown to help out the merchants. They gave us an initial capital to get started, as well as donations yearly for our first 3 years of operation. Since then, we haven't received any donations from them. Instead, we do receive some help from the community, but 80% of our operation costs are covered from ticket sales. We have 2 full-time staff employees to do the type of theater that we do there, where we do run every single weekend. On behalf of the associate group that we would look at, that would come here to Granbury, that would like to make a proposal, we would enact this exact same model of theater. We've done this in other places, working with other organizations, and the type of model of theater that we do, we've never seen it fail. We've only seen it grow.
All right, I've got a question. Honestly, I've never attended. Are you a theater in the round?
We are theater in the round.
Mm-hmm. And so you're minimal set pieces, is that correct?
Absolutely. Our focus is more on costumes and props than it would be on sets.
How would that type of theater work in a proscenium environment?
It wouldn't work at all. In proscenium, you would need to build sets. You would need to do that type of theater. You know, and as an associate theater, as a sister theater company is what we're talking about here, we would work with each other on assets as well as talent and set pieces and props and other types of hard cost that would be needed to put on different shows.
So is your intention, if you do come here, to piggyback your shows, to take a show that you've put into production in Cleveland in the round and restage it and revamp it for a proscenium type of environment?
It wouldn't be done in a month-to-month basis or even in the same season. But for instance, if you do a Fiddler on the Roof, there's very specific things that you have to have in a production of Fiddler on the Roof. There are hard costs associated with putting that show up. And yes, those costumes and those props could easily translate back and forth. However, it being only 42 miles away, and not as the crow flies, but as the highway goes, you know, we don't see us doing shows back-to-back or even transporting shows for that matter. It would be totally separate, independent entities.
Well, one of the situations we have is a little bit of downtime possibly with the backstage area, and one of the issues you heard Mr. Skiles report on was during the months of October, November, and December, he felt like he could put together a production with minimal backstage. Is that something that your group is interested in doing in a short term, 1 or 2 shows through the holiday season?
We're very interested in a long-term contract. However, one of the key components of the model theater we do is consistency, being open and open perpetually. And with that perpetual openness comes perpetual growth. And we don't really see that it would be advantageous to us to operate for 4 months and then to shut down for however long the remodel will take place. We all know how these remodel projects go. They might be 3 months. They might be 8 months. It happens. It might be a year, all depending upon what happens as you get into that construction project.
So you're not interested in a showcase environment?
No, sir. We're looking at pretty much opening and running so that we can grow.
Thank you. Any other questions for this, Mr. Aaron Seiler? And I'm sorry, I left the G off. G, Aaron.
Mayor, I got one question there.
Yes, sir.
Aaron, what are you talking about long-term contract?
Well, Mr. Skiles was given a great contract over a 5-year period.
5 years.
However, we would entertain even at least a year period, but it would obviously be, we would look at something on a longer term, like I said, to build the model, to build the patronage.
You have a question?
Yeah, just one question, Eric. So it's very clear, and I want to make sure I'm hearing you. We're getting the affirmation from you that you guys are serious going to give us a proposal for a long-term contract. Can we put that out?
Right, as an associate
yes,
group.
Of course.
Right.
Now, we can't say the Plaza Theater is coming here because of your contractual situation there, but it'll be a sister company that will do the same model, a lot of the same people.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Seiler? Thank you.
Oh,
I do. I'm sorry.
The old hospital.
Say that louder.
The old hospital.
In other words, if your company comes here, do you require dormitory space? I believe it would be the question.
Well, if you do a summer stock type theater, dormitory space would be necessary. I think Joanne set that up originally for that operation. So yes, in a summer stock situation, housing would be necessary.
Mr. Parson, you had a question?
Aaron, I wanted to thank you for coming tonight. I have been to the Plaza Theater, and your shows are very good. And have visited with you and Jason quite a bit about your business model, and it is impressive, and you guys have done a great job over there. So we do appreciate your coming tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Seiler.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, back to what we have before us. We have an amendment to an agreement between the City of Granbury, Granbury Historic Properties, and the Texas Family Musicals.
Mayor, I'd like to move that we accept the counteroffer by Texas Family Musicals as it sits today without any changes.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Mr. Tyra, a second by Mr. Perkel. Any other discussion regarding this?
Well, I'm just a little disappointed you're going to leave that $2,500 for September on the table.
Or off the table in this case? Any other discussion regarding this?
I think what Mickey's saying is you want to put the $2,500 back. I agree with him. I tell you what, he's done a lot for the city, and there's people agree and disagree, but that's what makes us humans. But hearing him say what he did and everything, and he's willing to do it, let's thank God that we had Sister Cindy here for many years, but they're not going to be here. This guy, his company could walk out tonight, and it could have been over with at the end of August. So I'm with Mickey on it.
Mayor,
we have a motion on the floor. We have a second, and any other discussion regarding this? Call for the question at this time. All in favor of the contract as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 9. Review, consider, and approve the City of Granbury Fund Balance Policy and adopt a resolution providing for said City of Granbury Fund Balance Policy. The Government Accounting Standards Board, the GASB, has adopted a Statement 54, also known as the GASB 54. It's a new standard for governmental fund balance reporting and governmental fund type definitions. That became effective in governmental fiscal years starting after June 15, 2010. At this time, I'll invite Interim City Manager Wayne McKethan to inform us on what this is regarding.
What this financial statement does is it divides your reserve balance into more segregated components that identifies different types of reserve that is reserved for different types of transactions. And this was accepted by the Governmental Accounting Standard Board. We don't really have any leeway in accepting it. We issue financial statements, and it has to be by in agreement with the GASB standards.
All right, with that being said, at this time I'd entertain a motion to accept the fund balance policy as presented, and we'll follow that with a vote on the resolution to endorse that fund balance policy. So first off, can I roll them together? All right. The attorney states we can move forward with approval. At this time, I'd entertain approval of the resolution that's before us regarding the fund balance policy.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Parsons, second by Mr. Perkle. Any questions regarding this?
Yes, my question, Mr. Manager, does this mean I can now see my ad valorem and debt interest payments grossed up or not?
Well, not from this particular one, no. This is just breaking out the fund balance by type. It doesn't.
All in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 10, discuss and consider amendments to the City Council Rules of Procedure. Mayor Pro Tem Parson has asked that the council be allowed to consider an amendment to Rule 4.2, which is the right of floor of the Rules of Procedure. As such, the following proposed language would be proposed to replace the existing Rule 4.2. The existing language just reads, right of floor. A city council member who desires to speak must be recognized by the presiding officer. The new language reads the same with the addition of, on each item posted on the agenda, each city council member shall be given an opportunity to address the issue by making a public statement or other comment. After each city council member has been given an opportunity to address the issue at hand, each city council member shall then be given the opportunity to rebut any statement previously made. Councilman, you brought this motion up for a reason. I'm sure there was some reason for us to go into a little bit more definition and language on this. Can you give us the reasoning behind this?
Well, I think on any matter brought before this council, each council person should have the opportunity to address council as it relates to the item, and then also a chance, as you do in debate, to rebut statements that may have been made. I think it also relieves the mayor from a little pressure from not having to, when under stress, to not understand how it works. So he understands that every member on the council gets a chance to address every issue to some extent.
I appreciate that.
So it's a mayor relief valve.
Oh, I see. Very good. Any other questions regarding this item?
I make a motion that we amend 4.2 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item number 11 is where we're at now. Consider an appointment to fill an unexpired term on the Municipal Utility Advisory Board. For background, the MUAB members, they serve 3-year terms. Mary Ward was a MUAB member who resigned. Ms. Ward's term will expire on December 31st, 2011. We have before us in your packet, you have received an application from Barbara Boozer to serve that unexpired term, and she is understanding that the term does expire on December 31st, at which point there would be a reappointment or possible consideration of other alternate applications for that position. Anybody want to entertain a motion at this time to fill that vacancy?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Allen. We've got a second by Mr. Perkel. All in favor of accepting Barbara Boozer application to serve the unfulfilled term for the Municipal Utility Advisory Board, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. I now declare that the Granbury City Council is convened into open session and that all members are present. The City Council will now go into closed session pursuant to provisions of Texas Government Code in accordance with the authority contained in the following sections. Section 551.072, Real Property Matters, and Section 551.074, Personnel. We shall return.